Hi, Brandie. I'm so excited to have you on the Undone podcast. Undone family, please help me welcome my beautiful sister that I went to school with, author and writer, and just all around dope chick. She's a boss mom. She's killing it. Miss Brandie Freely. Brandie, welcome to the show.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Of course. Before we even start, how are you?
I'm doing good today. It's a little gloomy outside. I'm ready for the sun to peek on through, but I'm good. How are you?
Girl, same. It's very gloomy. I'm looking out the window behind the computer and I'm like, oh, it's very gray today. But yeah, come on, son. I'm doing good. I'm excited to have this conversation with you. So I'm excited. Let's dive right on in. Okay, first of all, I have to say we had a time at my birthday. Thank you for coming because I know I danced, honey.
That was so much fun.
Girl, I look back at the videos. I was like, oh Lord, what was I doing? But you know what? I needed that. I needed
to listen, because we all did. We just don't get to have fun like that. You know what I mean?
We don't.
Yeah.
And I feel like as women, or even as women, but us coming from the South here, it's very like, it's just nowhere to like let our hair down like that.
Where do people at? I'd be like, where do the black people
get together? Yeah, like, where are the black people?
Where are we?
You gotta go to like a very curated event to get the black people. And even then, when we get in those spaces, it's more like about, okay, what do you do? What do you do? And so yeah, I needed that time. I definitely did.
It was great.
As I said at the beginning, we went to school together. We went to Prairie View together. What was your major at PV? You were in...
Yeah, so I did communications and English.
I thought so. Because we took some classes together, right?
Yeah, because were you communications?
I was communications, yeah.
Yes, but you were going out as I was coming in.
Yes,
you know what I mean?
Yes, that's true. That is true. That is true. What were those college days like for you? Like, because I like think back to that time because my niece goes to Spelman and I'm like, and as homecoming is approaching, fall is homecoming season. And I'm just thinking back to that time, like, ooh, take me back. Like I would like love to go back where I didn't have no bills, right, where it was just me and it was just not about all of the stuff that it is about now. Yeah. What was college like for you? What were those days like for you?
College for me, it was fun, but this is the thing, right? I didn't party and all that, but I was starting organizations, like I was singing everywhere. I worked in the president's office, so like I got to travel with the smart kids. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, but I wasn't the smart kids. I just I just got in good with people, which I'm good at, right? Like making connections. So I had that kind of experience. I was very busy and like, just being a part of the things, but not partying. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I had fun, but it was a different kind of fun.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I definitely partook in the party because, I was, I pledged sophomore year. So it was like very early on in my college experience. And I did both. I partied, I went to class, I did the things, but I feel like I got like, the best of both worlds.
Right.
Let me ask you this, because there's been such an emphasis on HBCUs, like in the past, I would say 5 years or, recently. How much of your HBCU experience shaped you into who you are today?
Man, life-changing experience. Like that's the one thing. And if anything in life I got right, it was deciding to go to an HBCU. And it definitely, especially because our campuses are usually smaller. And so you get to find your way. You can find your way easily. You can find your tribe, pretty easily. So it definitely shaped me. Like I said, I was like, doing a lot of stuff, creating different clubs and programs, and I still do that to this day. Like, you know what I mean? I got my feet wet there. So it was a big deal,
Definitely. So you heard that, folks. Go to HBCU, shout out all the HBCUs, because like I said, homecoming is coming up and I plan to go. Are you going to homecoming?
I don't know. Well, do you know when it is?
What? It is. I thought you said, it's November 4th, I think.
November 4th?
Yeah.
It's a possibility because I haven't gone in a few years and I really do need I need some homecoming in my life.
I went last year because it was our 20th, and I definitely was like, okay, just seeing everybody being back on the yard. I hadn't been since like 2016. So being back, I was like, oh, this feels good. And then this year I'm going to my niece's homecoming at Spelman. So I'm going to go to homecomings back to back. So I'm like, ooh,
That's
child.
good for the soul. You know what I'm saying?
Listen, and I need all of that. I need all of that. Okay. So today is World Gratitude Day, right? Like we have days for everything. It's like a cookie day, it's like a eyelash day, a hair day, whatever. Today is World Gratitude Day. And what I love most about you and why I wanted you on the podcast, obviously you're beautiful. Obviously, I know you from school, but your Instagram page, girl, the swipes, I be like, and I just reposted my story, and people DM me, I needed this. And you have amassed a big following yourself, but it always strikes a chord with me, and I'm gonna dive into that. But before I do, what does gratitude mean for you, and how does it play a role in your life?
Oh man. It plays a very big role, like all the time. For me, gratitude is really finding appreciation in every moment.
Mm-hmm.
And so then that causes you to be present, that causes you to be aware, right? And so there's this buzzword right now where everybody's like, I'm romanticizing my life, but really that's rooted in gratitude, right?
Yeah.
The way we romanticize our life is that we pay attention to how beautiful it is in every way. And so, yeah, it plays a big part because I am a very big, I basically feel like I'm living in like a romantic novel, like a romance novel. And I just, I want to notice all the things and make it feel beautiful and poetic. And so, yeah.
How would you say, or what advice would you give to people on how to express gratitude, or invite it into their lives? Like, how can we express it? Or even if you're not feeling like gratitude, but how can you invite it into your space?
That's a really good question. So, how do you invite it in?
Yeah.
That awareness, right? It is the glass half full model. It's optimism, and it's literally it's perspective, right? So it's taking your eyes and like putting on lenses that see the good, that find the beauty, because things could be going horribly, right? You could have a horrible day, but then I don't know, a little hummingbird goes and lands right on this leaf right in front of you. That's a beautiful moment, right? And so it's really about perspective. It's about looking for the good. And then you really can find gratitude in so much. You know what I mean? You really can. It's really easy, but sometimes we have to train our eyes to see it. So I would say that inviting it in is to really seek out beauty, and then expressing it. Okay, so I'll say what that looks like for me is like I'm driving down the street and I see this big old beautiful tree, and everybody, whoever's around me, I'm like, look at that tree, and I make it a big deal, right? And that's me like outwardly expressing that I've found the beauty and I'm grateful for it, right? And so that's how I express it. You can also obviously write it out, share with somebody, share goodness with somebody, like, yo, this thing happened, and I'm so grateful for it. Just sharing it out, like saying it, this is what happened, and expressing it that way, I think is another way to do it.
That's so good. That's so true. I try to, like you said, every day is not going to be a good day, but even like today, we were talking about how it's gloomy outside, and you open the blinds like, oh, I wasn't expecting this. I was expecting some sunshine, but I can be the sunshine, right? I can exude sunshine and invite the gratitude in that way. So I think it's all about, like you said, perspective and how you look at it. That was good. So everybody celebrate World Gratitude Day today with those gems that Brandie just dropped. That was really good. Now, Brandie, how long have you been in California?
I am going on my 6th year.
Okay.
In June will be 6 years.
Okay. What inspired your move here? Like talk about, because you got out, I like the journey that you've been on. Because I think I started following you first when I first got out here. I think Mel told me about you and I like checked out your page and followed you, but your transition has been so beautiful. Talk a little bit about what inspired your move out here and your journey so far.
So funny story. I ended up out here because I met this guy in the DMs.
Slid in the deal.
Yes.
I love it.
So my husband, we ended up getting married, but he lived here, right? But here's the thing, I've always loved California, and my older brother moved here like a few years before me, but he moved to the Bay. Okay. So, I had traveled. My best friend also lived here. So I would go back and forth and I just loved it. I loved the energy. You know what I mean? I loved like you can feel freedom in the air almost. And so as a free spirit, I was like, I found my people. So when we were dating and like it came down to, all right, what we doing? Are we doing this or not? It was very easy to say, oh yeah, I'm gonna move.
Right.
Back. You know what I mean? So that's how I ended up.
No regrets, right? On the move. No regrets.
None.
No. Would you move back? Would you go back or are you like set here? Have y'all talked about like would you and your family like move back?
Only if we had to. Like, am I open to moving like abroad? Yeah. Or you know what I'm saying? But in terms of being in the United States, I think California is it. And then somewhere else would be like over the pond.
Right. I agree. I definitely for sure agree. Love that story. Now, Brandie, like I was telling you earlier, I love your IG. I just feel like you just always drop so many gems and I'm always reposting and it's always like hitting me in my spirit about something, right? Your words like hit every single time. And I think so many people, like I said, you have amassed a big following yourself. I think so many people follow your page because of the words that you write. It's so thoughtful and intentional. Can you tell us about your journey as a writer and when did this start? When did this become a part of your journey in sharing these words online that so many people are using in their everyday lives now?
This is a good question. So how did this all start? You are good at this, Ashley.
Well, thank you, B.
Because I'm like, I thought I had in mind like what all you may ask me. So, okay, how did this all start? Well, a long time ago, I created this blog and it was somewhat like an open diary because I had gone through this divorce and it was like this big deal, right? Because I was 26 or something like that. Like, and writing has always, like I have journals back to second grade, right? So writing has always been my way of expressing and moving through and navigating life. But I think I was at a point where I did not want anybody to tell my story for me. And so I started to share a little bit of my journey. And then this one event happened where I shared something in a community space. And it was like a taboo type of topic, right? And after I shared it, there was this line of women who made their way to me and whispered in my ear, like, me too. Wow. You're not alone. Like, this is so powerful. Thank you for sharing your story. And I think that made me realize like, oh, there's something to this sharing, right? And I think that's when I just really started to just put stuff out there. And it started in a blog and long form sharing. And then I think as our attention spans have shortened,
right?
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So my words, and so they're way more succinct now, but the purpose is really the same, which is to kind of show like we all are in this together and you're not going through anything that somebody else hasn't, and when you share it, really it connects us all. And so that's the whole purpose behind it. And I'm grateful that whatever I've shared has moved anyone at all, even if it's one person, right? Just to know that you're not by yourself. Somebody else feels and sees, sees you. So that's kind of where it came from. Started with a blog, and now it's just these little these little tweets, you know what I mean? Yeah.
What's been the response from people? I know people DM you, I'm sure, and you have this meetup. You just did one. I think it was last weekend or the weekend before on the beach. But and with community of women and people gathering and y'all sharing, and I love that. But what's been the response from people on the different tidbits that you share? Like, are people DMing you? Are people coming up to you, when you see them in person at the meetups like you have, to tell you thank you for, your words?
Yeah, they are. And it's wild to me. You know what I mean? Because I'm like, and I just had this conversation with my husband, but I don't feel like I'm doing anything extra special. You know what I'm saying? Like, and so when someone does DM me or come up to me, or, yeah, I have these events where I create communities. My favorite thing is to create space so we can actually talk to one another. So like, I'll be the first to be like, this is what happened in my life. And then that gives everybody else permission to be like, and this is what happened in mine. And you know what I'm saying? And we end up holding space for each other and holding each other up. That's my favorite thing to do. And so I will have, like, a lot of times I don't know the people, they're strangers and we become family. It's also my other favorite thing, but they'll come up to me with tears for sure and be like, your words, girl, to like, I get chills now, and it almost makes me be like, I can't, but like, your words have saved my life. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, ooh, that's, you know what I'm saying? It's, I don't know. So I still have to like learn to own that. But at the same time, I feel like it's really not about me. It's, it's a gift that moves, our gifts move through us and they serve a greater purpose.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, but it's wild, but I want to continue to show up in that way. Like, if it matters, if it means something, if it's doing something, I want to continue to show up and do it,
It's definitely moving people. I saw a video recently of Savannah James. I think she was doing like a beauty video, or a magazine was in her restroom, and she was just showing people, the viewers around, and she had these sticky notes on her window, like affirmations, right? You got this, or you are beautiful, or, whatever the case may be. Do you think that it's important? Everybody may not be a writer like you, but do you think that it's important to jot down, affirmations and thoughts and things to tell yourself that it's okay, or champion yourself and cheer for your own self? Do you think affirmations are important?
I think affirmations are so important. Like, and it doesn't matter if you are a writer, a poet, or whatever, right? Put the words somewhere, write them out, like use your hand to write them out. And I always tell people this, like, you don't have, you think about, oh, I'm going to sit down and write. So I need to set the tone and the mood. So I'm gonna light a candle, and like my house needs to be clean in order to like get these words out. No, this is like you in the bathroom, because there's a lot of good thinking that happens on the toilet. Okay.
You better say it.
So like having some sticky notes and a pen right there ready, right? Because a lot of thoughts are going, and getting it out. And then the other thing is, we don't remember what we say we're going to remember. So a lot of times, if we have a thought, that we want to keep and we want to hold on to, it's good to write it down, because an hour later, you won't be able to come up with that same set of words. You won't be able to remember what you said. So that is important. That and journaling, I truly believe in it. And it doesn't have to be fancy. You do not have to be a writer. It's just about like getting it out,
You wrote something this week that took me by the neck again. I had to clutch my pearls. I think I commented too. I said, I said something, but you said, may the dreams I dream become real. May the doubts in my mind be quiet. May the fear be still while I move forward. May my confidence crescendo and be louder than the noise. The distractions, the voices, the reasons I should give up. May I know for sure that I was created for this. The dream, the pull, the desire, the idea, the gift, the passion, the fire inside me. May I forge a path and leave it lit with my electricity. so that others may also find their way. May I be a force, may I be a source of light, of life, of love, of joy, of ease, of peace, of hope. May the dream be real soon, now, amen. Okay. Listen, reading it out loud even gives me chills because, we're all on this journey. We're all on different journeys, right? But we're all wanting to be seen. We're wanting to be heard. We're wanting the thing that lights us up, like you talk about in this. What inspires these words? Is it something that you wake up with in the morning? Like, where does this come from? Because this, I feel like we so many of us feel, but where does it come from for you?
So for me, usually 9 times out of 10, I'm writing in the moment. So when I post it, I just came up with it. And I know as a content creator,
wow,
right? Like most people plan ahead, but I don't, because I'm really and truly leaning into intuition. I'm like leaning into what do I feel? Like, what do I feel? Because I truly believe, right, that like there's like a frequency that goes out, and we are all typically riding the same wave, right? So if I'm feeling that frequency, so are you most likely, right? And I found that like it's true. Typically, if I'm posting and I'm tapped in and I'm like following my intuition, it resonates with so many people. Now, if I write something ahead of time and then post it 2 weeks later, it doesn't hit the same.
Wow.
It's really wild, right? So like I tap in. So in that moment when I wrote that was honestly a prayer that I was needing myself right then, right? So it's like I really did need, like, Lord, there's some things that I want and need, and this doubt and these fears and these voices and this noise. That was for me. But I feel like if that's how I'm feeling right now, I'm sure there's some other people going through that same exact thing. So let me pray out loud, right?
Wow.
And see who else it resonates with. So that's where it comes from. It's really an honest place of like, this is how I feel right now, or this is what's resonating with me right now. A lot of times it may be a conversation I had with some people and I'm like, oh, so we're kind of on this right now, right? And so I draw inspiration from that and try to put it into words. So yeah.
Are you healed? Are you healing? Or is this therapeutic for you to write this out, to share it? Does it help you in, whatever space that you may be in?
Yes. Oh my gosh. That word healing and healed and stuff is another buzzword. Everybody is like, I'm healed. We all are. Like, right. You know what I'm saying? I don't know about, we are always on a journey. Evolving all the time, right? And I'm really obsessed with evolution and how we, you know what I mean? How we change over time. So I love change. I embrace it. And so I would say that I am healing always. There's always something in me that needs healing. Right. And it may be something that healed before.
Right.
And now it ain't healed no more. You know what I'm saying? So I'm constantly healing. And so sometimes I'm speaking from a place of knowing because I've been there, right? I can relate. So I'm sharing because I know. Sometimes I'm sharing because I'm going through. Ooh. Right? And I need this for myself. So it really just, it's like a living thing in me, and I'm like sharing it real time, and for me and for others. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm. That's deep. Like we are constantly ever evolving, right? We're not done evolving until the lights go out, right? So
we're done.
Yeah. And when people say, oh, I'm healed from that, well, you don't actually know it. I mean, because something could trigger, you just never know. And then it may come up again. So yeah.
Oh my gosh. And I'm like looking at all this stuff about people who are like, I'm healed from divorce and da da da. I'm like, I don't think you've given it enough time.
Girl, listen, B.
So,
Girl, you're definitely right. That is a buzzword. For what I love about just having this space and even just watching your story and like the things that you post, what I feel is the common thread in that is the journey, right? We're all on this journey. We're ever evolving. We're trying to, get our yeses. We're trying to heal from things, or we're trying to evolve from things. We're on a journey, a constant journey, right? And for so many people, the journey is tough right now just because of the nature of where we are in the world. What would you say to someone on a journey in which they are struggling and they feel like, okay, this is not ending for me. Nothing is happening for me. I'm not getting the yes. The doors are constantly closing on me. What word could you say to them to encourage them to keep going and give it just a little bit longer? What would you say?
Well, I mean, I think what comes to mind first is that, like, how will you know if you don't keep going? Right.
Right.
And that the only people who make it to the finish line are the ones who kept going.
Right.
That the only difference between you and somebody who made it is that they kept going, right? So if you give up, if you stop trying, it's not going to work out. Like,
right.
You know what I'm saying? Right. That it's not. But how do you know? Like, how would you know what's to come? How, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
You literally have to keep going. And then the other thing is, this idea of the ebb and flow, how life is going to do this. It just is.
It's not gonna always be up.
It's not staying like this. It's not. It's going up and down. And so, but here's the thing. Just as sure as it goes up, it's surely going to go down. It is surely going to go up again. It is surely. So it's this idea of being sure. I know for sure. It's okay. It's going to go back up. What I'm going to learn to do is surf this thing. Okay. I'm going to learn to ride the ebb and flow, and I'm going to learn to expect the dip just as much as I expect the up, the down. And so you stop looking at life like this thing that's supposed to just have you on the top.
Right.
What?
Right.
Like old folks say, like, they ain't never, what did they say? It's like, nobody ever said it would be easy. Like,
right. Who told you that? Like Portia. Who said that?
Right. So but that's the thing. I have this knowing. It doesn't matter where I am on the ebb and flow. I'm good. I am good. Like, okay, life is dipping right now. Right. That's okay. Right. That's what life does, right? So it's getting unstuck. Okay, so you in a dip, and now you so far in that dip that you can't like let go.
Right.
You won't even allow it to go back up because you just staying down here in the dip, like, oh, life just done lifed me, and
I'ma just life with it. Like, no.
You know what I'm gonna just lay down and die with it. Like, no.
Get up.
So it's that perspective. It's a little bit of tough love in there. Like, hey, listen, no. Like, life is not supposed to always be easy for you. Like, you gotta ride that thing, So that's what
I love that. Just a few more questions for you, Brandie. You recently hosted a beach retreat, which I mentioned earlier, and which I love. Talk to us about how that got started, and when is the next one? Tell the people how we can get involved. Spill the tea.
Okay, so I do love to bring women together. It's like I told you, I love to do it. And so I host the Escapism retreat, which is like a 4 to 6 night retreat that I've hosted for the past few years. And we have one of those coming up next year in Bali. And then I was like, okay, everybody can't go to those all the time. So how can I like get people together on a regular? Well, we live in California. Like there's plenty of spaces and places, right, to get together. And then to your point about like there not being enough spaces where we can just go and let our hair down. I was like, we need that. And so that's how Beach Bums came about. And it's funny because I wanted to launch this months ago, but those voices and just, oh, I'm not ready. I can't. you know, so although we're coming up on fall, I was like, nope, I'm not waiting. I'm
Right.
starting right now. And so we did it. And it was honestly, it was really beautiful. Like a lot of strange women came together. And girl, you would have thought we all knew each other.
See.
You know what I mean? Like we were cutting up, we were sipping tea, you
Yes.
know, on the beach, right? It was a very elevated beach experience, but also we were talking a lot of noise playing volleyball, right? And
I
so
love that. I love that community in that space to just be. I like that. I like that.
That's all it is. It's just a place where you can come and be. And a lot of people are not native LA people.
Yes.
Like, you know, so they're searching for a community. So it's just, you know, that's the idea behind it. But it's a free event. The next one is October 22nd.
Yes.
So yeah, it's coming up. And so
I think I probably will put my jacket on and my hoodie and head on out to the beach with my flip flops so I can get in on this because I saw the video. It was so good. And we had talked a little bit about doing something. We need to talk about that offline.
Yeah.
On that. How do you balance everything? You're a wife, a mom, you're healing all of the people online. And you're hosting these retreats all over. But how do you carve out space for you? How do you balance it all?
I will say that I'm not balancing it. I'm winging it a lot of times. But I have a good support system, you know, even just if they can't necessarily help me do the things, they can at least like listen to me vent about not being able to do all the things, right? And then tell me you're doing a great job, just keep going, right? So I think that's very helpful. But I do like I am very much like I need my time.
Yeah, listen now.
I need my time. So I take that for myself. And I always write this: take your precious time, and I mean like take it, like take your time. And I do. Like I'm like, well, mommy's gonna go do this thing for me. Like one of the things my kids will know when they grow up is like, mommy was not one of them ones that was like juggling all the things and making it work. Like mommy was gonna go take a nap when mommy was tired. Like that's so. If anything, that's it. I recharge when I need to. I don't try to do it all. I don't want to do it all.
Right.
Like I'm gonna do what I can and I'm gonna do that well. You won't see me trying to do all the things.
Wow.
Like, yeah.
I listen, hats off to you because get somebody else to do it. So like, no, I don't have to do all the things. Like, no, I don't have to be superwoman. No, sign somebody else up for that. Before I let you go, you talked a little bit earlier about how you went through your divorce, and so many people are, girl, getting divorced. It's been all the news, like just everybody. A lot of people divorce. But now you're happily married. Can you give some advice to some women that may be in that space right now? They may be, you know, trying to make a decision. Should I stay or should I go? I don't know what to do. What would you say as someone who went through and experienced that? You're not maybe healed from it, but you've been there, done that, got the t-shirt. Now you're in a happy space in your new marriage. What would you say to women that are watching this? Going through that space?
So I try really hard not to sound like a divorce advocate because I am not, right? Like, however, really, I would say get with yourself, decide for yourself, not for everybody else. Because that's why most people stay stuck, you know, is that, well, what will this mean for it? Don't get with yourself and listen to your gut. You know, like do simple things like we used to make a T chart and it was like the pros and cons.
Yeah.
But go deeper on it, right? And I think too, just if you're leaning more towards that, like I think I want to be free, just knowing that you can reinvent as many times as you want. It's okay. You'll be okay. And also so will everybody else. Like I think too, we're like, well, he may not be all right. Like just as much as God loves you and will take care of you and keep you.
Right.
also loves him.
Yeah, right.
Make it all work out for him too, right? So like that should not be the concern. I think the main concern is like, what is it that you really want? What do you really want? And at this stage in your life, not what you wanted then, right? And then obviously, yes, try to work it out with your partner, but this is for someone who really knows like it ain't quite, this is not it, right? Like I think just don't be afraid to start over if you need to start over. There's this lady, oh no, what's her name? I want to give her credit. I don't know what her name is, but she said something so profound, but she was like, you can have a new relationship. Like, so we think about divorce is the only way to have a new relationship, or you can actually have a brand new relationship within your relationship.
Wow. Right? That's good.
Yeah, you can start over together. And I think if you have a partner that's reasonable enough where you feel like y'all can have that conversation for real, right? And he can come to that level and y'all can come to some sort of compromise, maybe start over in that relationship, maybe find your freedom within that relationship, but voice that you need it. I need the freedom. I don't want to belong to anybody but myself right now, right? So I can do that here. Or I could do it here. Like, you know what I'm saying? So I think it's really, though, it is like, I would do a lot of writing. I would do a lot of talking, but not to people that are in your circle that have like their thoughts, like somebody else, you know, maybe a therapist or something like that. But, you know, just don't be afraid if you need to start over. Just, it's okay. It's okay.
Right. You know? That's good. How did you know that it was time for you to leave?
I just wanted to be free.
Brandie Freely, she's free, y'all. Here we are. I love it. I love it. That is good. You wanted to be free. Y'all, that was really good, B. I like how you said that you can reinvent in what you already have. Like if the both of the parties are willing and able to work through, because divorce is not always the answer. And I think divorce has become very popular.
Yeah.
Because of social media. So it's like, oh, okay, well, I'm just go get divorced and go get somebody else. Then you get with somebody else and you really haven't worked through and you getting in that and it's the same that you just left. So that was good.
But to that, I would say too, that I would love if all women, I know I'm definitely telling my daughter, but really and truly ask yourself, do you even want to be married? Maybe you just want to have romances all around the world. Like, think about the options, because I feel like I didn't realize that I really had options, which is why I went and got married at 22, because I thought that's the next thing you're supposed to do. Right. I got options. I didn't realize, like, I don't have to get married.
No.
I could do whatever I want to do. So I think, too, like, before you get married, really ask yourself, is that something you feel like you really want, right? And if that is, how do you want it to look? Maybe find a partner that, you know, is open to different, you know, constructs or whatever you want to call it, or no constructs.
Right.
So anyway, I could talk about that forever. And so
I had to squeeze in as much as I could. But yes. Okay, B, this was so good. Thank you for taking time and for holding this space. You are so bomb. And we got to get together to get some.
Please.
We do, for sure. Please tell everybody, if they're not already following you, where they can find you and where they can get any updates about your next beach retreat, your escapism retreat, where they can just get all the info on Brandie Freely.
Yeah, I would definitely say Instagram is the place, because all the things land there at some point. So yeah, it's Brandie Freely, BRANDIE.
With the E, y'all. Don't forget the E.
The FREELY. So that's probably the best place.
Okay, so perfect. But wait, we're not done just yet. We're almost done. We're gonna play a quick game of rapid fire. Are you down?
Oh my gosh. Yes, I think.
Okay. Okay, let's go. Last series you binged.
Last series I binged. Dang. Okay. I don't watch a lot of TV. What was it? I don't know. The only thing I can think of is something on Netflix.
Okay.
Something on Netflix. I don't know. Something fluffy.
Okay. What's the one book that has had the most profound impact on your life?
It's a devotional one, is Jesus Calling, had a very, very profound impact. And then The Bluest Eye, because that was like my introduction to, historical fiction, and Toni Morrison, which for a writer, obviously she's everybody's like GOAT,
Right. Definitely. If you could master any skill instantly, if you could instantly master any skill, what would it be?
Oh, I want to be like Gordon Ramsay, like a chef.
Yeah. I would love to. That's what I want. I would love to be able to cook, like for sure. I mean, because I can't cook. Can you cook?
I can cook, but I want to be like the chefs that just be knowing like what to put with what, like they in there chopping, you know what I mean? Like
Right.
that level.
If you could sit down and have dinner, break bread with anybody, historical figure, who would it be? Dead or alive?
Girl, Jesus.
Yeah. Sam, right, Sam. Yes, God.
Questions. I have questions.
A lot of questions for you. Oh my God. I love that. I love that. What if you could time travel to any era?
Ooh.
Where would you go? What would you visit?
Renaissance me.
Yes.
Harlem Renaissance me. I want to be all up in there fancy. You know what I mean? At the jazz club, that's where I go.
Okay, with a little, probably not a cigarette, but I would want to hold that. Pretend. I want to pretend. Who or what inspires you?
Honestly, people, like human nature, the human experience, people's stories. I love hearing people's stories. Like I get so much inspiration from that. I would definitely say that. And nature.
Yes.
Yeah.
What brings you joy?
So many things, but probably like most often it's like just outside nature, the sun, the clouds, the colors, green, the ocean, that brings me like pure joy, to see something beautiful.
Well, you bring us all joy, Miss Brandie Freely. So thank you for obeying the call. Thank you for answering the assignment that God has on your life. Because of that, I think that you are doing his work through, he's using you. He's using your voice. He's using your gifts to help other people. So thank you for that. Thank you for being obedient. And we love you. You bring us joy with your words. So thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Thanks for having me. Thanks for doing this podcast and creating space for people to come and open up and talk and share. It's so important, So thank you.
Thank you so much, B. I appreciate you. Okay, did I get you out in time? It's 10:45. Well, 10:46.
Yes, you are good, girl.
I was trying.